Yesterday in 12.1, we were adding and subtracting matrices. Today, for 12.2, we're going to multiply them. So we have matrix multiplication. All right, so before we actually get to where we're multiplying two matrices together, there's some other things we need to do first. If we have what we call a scalar, which you should remember that word from geometry class, a scalar is a number that is in front of the matrix. It takes it up a scale or down some, right? So if I had a matrix, let's say matrix A, B, C, D, and I wanted to multiply it by a 3 on the outside. That's just multiplying the scale of it by 3. So you're just going to multiply every element in there by 3. So 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D. Seems pretty straightforward, right? So let's take this up a little bit. Let's go to example number 1, having to do that. And what if I wanted you to find 3 times 1, negative 5, 4, 7, plus 2 times 6, 9, negative 1, and 2. So you can see both of those matrices are 2 by 2, right? So we're going to be able to add these together because they are the same dimensions. But first we have to multiply by what's the scalar on the outside. So we're going to times the first matrix by 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 7 is 21. Plus, in the second one, we're going to multiply everything by 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now we just are back to what we did yesterday, and we just got to add them together. So when I add them, I am adding the same elements together. So 3 plus 12 is 15. Negative 15 plus 18 is 3. 12 plus a negative 2 is 10, I agree. And 21 plus 4 is 25. Questions on something along that line? Nope, seems pretty easy. Okay, good. All right, example number 2 then. What if I had something that looked like this? Let's say I had 3 times 1, 2, 3 minus 3x equals 4, 8, and 12. We need to find matrix X. We know matrix X has to be what size? Close. 3 by 1, yes, 3 by 1. So we know X has to be a 3 by 1 because there is 3 rows, 1 column, right? All right, so first we're going to start by multiplying the first one, and we're going to set it up as 3 separate little equations. First equation is 3 times 1 minus 3x equals 4.
His mom needs to have that. Thank you so much.
All right, so 3 times 1 is 3. I'm going to subtract 3 to the other side. It's right here. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So we get negative 3x equals 1. So the first element is going to be negative 1/3. So in our final matrix, negative 1/3 is our first element. Okay, our next element, keeping the same thing, we're going to take 3 times 2 minus 3x equals 8. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtracting 6 to the other side, I have negative 3x equals 2. So x equals negative 2/3. That's the second element in our matrix. Who would like to volunteer for the third equation? What is it?
3 times 3
Thank you.
minus 3x equals 12.
Good. Nice job. That's perfect. 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to subtract 9 to the other side. So I have negative 3x equals 3. X equals negative 1. Good. Okay? So on your worksheet today, you do have a couple of them that are just like this. Set them up as little mini equations, and they're easy to solve that way. Okay? Any questions so far?
No. For me,
Anybody at all? So let's get into multiplying matrices together. There is a special little trick for them. So we got to take it really slow. All right, here's what I want to talk about first. When we multiply matrices together, in order to be able to multiply them, the columns of matrix 1 has to equal the rows of matrix 2. Okay? So if my first matrix is a 2 by 3, and I'm multiplying it by a 3 by 4, I can multiply these together if columns of the first one are equal to the rows of the second one. So I can multiply them. When I do that, my result dimensions, oops, how do I spell right? In this case, my result dimensions are going to be a 2 by 4. It is going to be the rows of matrix 1 by the columns of matrix 2. All right? So, for example, if I have, say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I want to multiply it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This first one is a 3 by 2. This second one is a 2 by 3. I can multiply these together because the columns of the first one matches the rows of the second one. To get our final dimension, those cancel out, and our end result is going to be a 3 by 3. Okay? How are we doing? All right. So when I wrote, the other day when we started talking about matrices, and we wrote down the elements, we said that the first element was A11. That actually, we talked about how it was row 1, column 1. That is telling you what you are multiplying together. Okay? So, here is example number 3. I want you to multiply 1, 3, 5, 7 by 2, 4, 8, and 10. Now, in the first one, this is a 2 by 2. In the second one, this is a 2 by 2. So we can multiply them together, right? These match. That means our answer is going to be a 2 by 2. Now, here's how it works. Making it really big so we can write it all out so you can see it. When you are multiplying matrices, you're going to take the first row. To get the first element, you take row by column. So I'm going to multiply my first row by the first column of the other one. So I'm going to take 1 times 2, and I'm going to add it to 3 times 8. So in this case, we get 26. So I know, it's weird the first time you see it. We're going to do a few of these. It's going to be okay. So then, this spot in our matrix is A12, right? Which means we take row 1, column 2. So we're going to still stick with this row, but this time we're going to column 2. So we take 1 times 4 and add it to 3 times 10. Now we're on to row 2, right? This spot in our matrix is A21. What does that mean? That means we're going to do row 2, column 1. So it is 5 times 2 plus 7 times 8. So 10 plus 56, 66. And the last spot is A22, row 2, column 2. Okay? So we have 5 times 4 plus 7 times 10. And I agree with Jacob, that is 90. Very good. Okay, so it's a little weird the first time you see it, how they actually multiply together. Okay? So let's do another example. Example number 4. All right. How about if we have 3, 5, 7, and I want to times it by -2, 0, 1. All right. So this first matrix is a 1 by 3. The second matrix is a 3 by 1. These match, so is it okay for us to multiply them together? Yep. What is our end result going to be? A 1 by 1. It's one single number, right? Okay. So, in our matrix, we multiply 3 times -2 plus 5 times 0 plus 7 times 1. So -6 plus 0 plus 7 is 1. Very good. Questions? You guys throw some questions at me before we do another example. Any questions at all?
No, pretty straightforward.
It's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Now, this is possible to do in the calculator, but it takes a lot of buttons to get it all in the calculator. So sometimes it's just easier for us to do it on paper. You know what I mean? But it is possible to do it in a calculator. So let's do one more example, and I'll get you your worksheet. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right.
How this next example goes.
Okay.
That's the answer you were looking for.
That is the answer I was looking for. Thank you so much. All right. How about this one? Let's go with 2, 1, 0, 1. And let's go with 3, 0, 1, -1, 5, 2, and 0, 7. All right, so this first one is a 2 by 2. The second one is a 4 by 2. Can't do it. Not possible. Right. Or no solution. I know, right?
Hey, so after that example, I came to the conclusion, I think the rest are good.
You guys think so? I'm more than happy to do another example. You guys think you're good?
Well, we can work on, we have plenty of time to work on it and ask you a question.
Okay.
That's what I.
No? You need another example? Okay. We'll do one more example. Example number 6. How about if we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, 1, and we're going to multiply this by, oops, 1, negative 1, 2, 5, and 0, 3. All right, so this first one is a 2 by 3. This second one is a 3 by 2. Can I multiply them together? Yes, okay. These match. So my end result is going to be a 2 by 2, exactly. 2 by 2. All right, this first spot is A11, row 1 by column 1. I'm taking row 1 and timesing it by column 1. So 0 times 1 plus 0 times 2 plus 0 times 0 is 0 in the first spot. Now I've got to take the same row times column 2. So we go 0 times negative 1 plus 0 times 5 plus 0 times 3. Or, of course, we get 0. So we're done with the first row in our matrix. We're done with the first row of the first one. Right? So we're done with this one. I'm going to cross it out. I only have this one to work with now. Down here in this section, this is our A21 spot. So I use row 2 with column 1. So we go 1 times 1, which is the first one here and the first one here. We're going to add it to the second one here and the second one here, or 3 times 2 plus 1 times 0. So you get 1 plus 6 plus 0, or 7. Okay? Last one, row 2, column 2. We're using this one. So it's 1 times negative 1 plus 3 times 5 plus 1 times 3. Yeah, 17. Thank you. Very good. Okay? Is that better? We're good? Let's try it. Let me get you your worksheet.